Hello, Avani Higgins here, head teacher at Connaught School for Girls. I want to talk to you today about our wider opening of schools for Year 10 starting on Tuesday the 16th of June. I want to start firstly by thanking all the parents for bearing with us while we sort out how to make our school as safe as it can be in a global pandemic, and it's been quite a process. But I want to reassure you that we've carried out very thorough risk assessments, we've spoken to all the stakeholders, and we've not left any stone unturned to get the school ready for opening next week and make it as safe as it possibly can be in order to welcome your daughters back into education. I know that you'll be worried and anxious. As a parent myself, I would want to know that when I send my daughter into school, that all measures have been taken to reduce the risk of the infection as much as is possible. And I hope you'll find that by the time you finish listening to this video and had a look through all the information that's been sent to you, that you will decide that actually it is as safe as can be. You will by now have seen the tentative plan that I've sent you, and I want to thank everybody who's replied. And if you haven't, could I urge you to do so as soon as possible. Very soon you'll get a letter from Mr. Cross and Miss Hicks about the behaviour protocol and the plans going forward. And there is a reply slip in there to say that you've read and understood the new behaviour protocols, and I'd really appreciate it if that could be returned as soon as possible. In today's video, I'll be talking through what we've done in order to make the school as safe as possible. And then following that, you'll hear from our Deputy Head Teacher, Mr. Cross, who's going to talk you through in a bit more detail about the plans that we have in order to help your daughters fill the gaps that have occurred after missing possibly up to a term's worth of school. Next week, you'll hear from Mr. Mr. Silk, who is our assistant head teacher, who'll be telling you about the virtual school that we're planning, where we can make more time for face-to-face sessions for your daughters the remainder of the time. So more detail will come out on that next week. So should your daughter come to school? Well, look, you'll be worried, and I am too. By the time we return to normal, the girls will have missed possibly up to a term's worth of learning. And we're worried that that is causing a gap in education. And the longer this crisis goes on, the bigger the gap that gets made. And I'm also mindful that for some families that don't have lots and lots of IT, you've got children that are sharing laptops with other siblings and don't have the sort of access to IT to make really meaningful learning. So we're really determined to put this right as soon as possible. I'm also worried about the mental health of our girls because, you know, coming into school, being with their friends, talking about things, all of that is really important, you know, the making human connections. So I'm really keen to start that up as soon as possible. But of course, whether you send your daughter to school or not is really a personal choice. And last week I sent through some information and signposted some places that can help you to decide whether that is something that you would want to do. So how safe is the school? Well, you'll see from the risk assessment that if the R is over 1, that's the rate of infection, the school will not open. The risk assessments, as I said themselves, have gone through a very thorough process with the staff, with the unions, governors and so on. And so it's been signed off and we are crystal clear that the school is safe. And there are a plethora of things that are in place to keep your daughters safe. So things like temperature checks at the door, PPE in the classrooms. There's an isolation room if anybody shows symptoms of COVID. We've got signage all around the school. The desks are placed 2 meters apart, and there's training being given to staff and students about how to behave when they are in the building, respecting social distancing and so on. In terms of travelling to school, we are really urging you not to use public transport, but if you do use public transport, you must use a face covering or a mask. We're actually saying with the lovely weather, walk or cycle is preferable. If you do have to drop your daughter off to school, if you would please respect social distancing and, just watch when you're dropping off to keep her safe and everybody else as well. So I hope you've seen that we have put an awful lot in place, and if you do have any questions after you've seen these videos, please do get in touch and one of us will talk you through in a little bit more detail what we've got in place for your daughters. I really hope to see her next week, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to get through the pandemic and make your daughter the best version of herself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivani. My name's Gareth Cross and I'm Deputy Head Teacher at Connaught School for Girls. And I'm now presenting our plans for the provision for Year 10 students from Tuesday, the 16th of June 2020. We've organised our students into 12 distinctly different groups from what they're used to. And they're organised so that each of the groups studies the common subjects, English, Maths, Science and RE, but also commonly study a humanity, either geography or history, or a particular language. That's so that we can get subject specialist staff assigned to your daughters to assist them with the home learning in those specialised subjects. We've also got, in addition, drama, textiles and art staff who are scheduled to see your daughters if they are taught those subjects at least once during the time before we break up for the summer. Now, all 12 groups won't be in school at any one time. We'll only have 3 groups in at any one time. And if you look at the table at the top right-hand corner, it gives an example, groups X, Y, and Z, 3 groups coming in at any one particular time, arriving and studying and having break and departure at different times. And this is so that we minimise any risk of virus reinfection. Each of the groups will come in on a particular day. For example, groups A, B and C come in on cyclical day 1, which will be the Tuesday the 16th of June, and they come in every 4 days. So it would be D, E and F on the Wednesday, C, G, H and J on the Thursday, and K, L and M on the Friday. But essentially, this is what we are offering your daughters. We've organised the students into 12 small groups, between 9 and 13 in number, so that we can satisfy social distancing rules, and they will commonly study a particular humanity in a particular language. 3 groups will attend on any one day, 3 hourly sessions, and they'll attend every 4th day. Groups will arrive, take break and depart at different times. The sessions will support home learning, although we will have some pastoral support to give girls the opportunity to talk about their feelings and how they've been coping during the lockdown period and reintegrating them into school, and some new topics like poetry. But there will be 18 sessions for each group, which will have at least 3 one-hour English sessions, at least 2 maths, 2 science, 2 of their history or geography, 2 of their language, 1 RE, and 1 session where they will see a drama specialist, a textile specialist, and an art specialist. And that's a great offer for all of our students. It's now my time to try to encourage you to consider sending your daughter to school for these sessions if you've not already thought of doing so. I'd like to try to satisfy you about us minimising risks. This is the student entrance, and students must enter from Connaught Road. And you can see the lengths we've gone to ensure that students arrive at safe distances from each other. They'll wash their hands firstly before going to the sessions. And as I said before, the groups will be having staggered starts, 10 minutes between their arrival times. There are clear demarcations about distancing and routes around the building. And we have signs on the desks. You can perhaps see the cards on the desk, which are sellotaped onto the desk, green cards to show where people can sit to satisfy social distancing rules. The same in this particular room as well. And we must have computers because it's complementing their home learning, which has been set online. But we've been placing the keyboards around the room for computers that can be used to satisfy social distancing, and that will be very, very strict. We'll be using the library as well, and there you can see an example of a card that says where you can and where you can't sit, and at that desk they'd be using a laptop. For visitors and staff, they use the Dyers Hall Road entrance. Again, you can see the lengths we've gone to satisfy social distancing. We have a great cleanliness routine. We have lots of hand sanitizers around the building. We have portable hand washing stations. We have demarcations on the floor so people can understand where they need to go and where not to go to ensure that we keep as safe as possible. And everyone's encouraged to keep at least 2-meter distance right along the corridors and where they're going. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you found Miss Higgins' presentation useful too, to consider sending your daughter to school for a in-school face-to-face provision at Connaught School for Girls from the 16th of June 2020. Thank you for watching and listening.